Hello! Hello. This is Dice Bag again, and in case you aren't familiar with me, I am let's see, what do I call myself? I always have to think about this for a second. Artist, game designer, world builder, and occasionally VTuber. Yeah, I always have it handy at the top of my mind's page there. So, today is a special little thing we're doing here. Um, yeah, I set up a contest over on Mines. Now, first of all, let's get some background music going. There we go. So yeah, I set this contest up on Mines because we're soon approaching the I don't know, launch, I guess, kind of half-baked launch of Crytures, where I'm going to release a beginner module while I try cleaning up and fleshing out everything else. So you'll be able to actually try the game without having like the entire full thing out, but it'll be in a playable state. So I wanted to do this to get a little hype building. Now, unfortunately, we only had two entries here. And Alfred Price is out to third place, so congratulations to the two people who entered. Well, I guess that's to be expected. Now, I thought some of my friends that I streamed with before had some interest in this game and they might enter the contest, but apparently not. Thanks a lot, artistic savants. I bring you onto my channel to play art games, and what do I get? That's okay, whatever. You guys are probably busy doing art things like I should be. But, yeah. I'm a little too busy doing game things. That's the problem being a kind of jack-of-all-trades kind of dude. But anyways, so we're gonna go through the characters, and I'm gonna give some opinions on them. And then that's probably not going to take very long, so I'll just go right ahead and start making some pre-made characters for the beginner module. And I'll walk people through the character creation process during that time. And everybody can learn how to make a creature's character. A creature conjurer, as they say. Well, as I say. Because that's the game I made. So, without further ado, let's look at this first one. Alright, first character. This guy's from Arthadian Anthologies. He's another RPG designer making his own RPG. What's it? I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be called. I'll have to, you know what, let's go to his page. He should say something about it. I don't want to just not plug this guy. Yeah, Arthadian Anthologies is apparently not the name of the actual game. Ah, Reborn in Power. That's the name, I should have known that. He got so many brands. Yeah, Reborn in Power, March of the Core, Arthadian Anthologies. Y'all need to consolidate your brand. It'd be a little easier on me. But anyways, I wish I had the resources for the art that you do. Oh well, I like to make my own stuff most of the time anyways. But anyways, here is his character. He calls him Vagan Rin. Vagan Ring. Yeah. So let's hold on a second. I got a cough drop in my mouth. I want to do a nice a nice voice for this or something like that. Yeah. In a city north of Root Run, there once lived the Ring family. They were powerful conjurers that protected their city. However, power is something that cannot be controlled for very long. It is said that one of the head nobility in the once vibrant city became insane, losing control of his most powerful creatures, which laid waste to the city. Before the creatures could destroy everything, the Ring family made sure to keep their bloodline alive, sending their youngest child, Vagan, out into the wilderness with the proper supplies to survive. Along with his sidekick, Vagan fled as his family took on the creatures. After traveling southward, Vagan came across Root Run, being taken in and cared for by a farm family. Since he lost his home, he's been quiet and secludes himself away from most people. He's only close to his sidekick, keeping it wrapped around his shoulder at all times. But one day, he heard talk about Captain Starburn taking in new recruits for the militia. Vagan, having lost his family, felt the need to protect what he could. Therefore, he seeks to join the militia and train to be a powerful conjurer like his family was. And now he describes the astral pocket. Now, let's give a little back story on the astral pocket, because that's probably not something I've talked about on here. Let's see, made Minds post, so I'm just gonna reread what I wrote in that Minds post, if I can find it here. We'll tell you all about the astral pockets. Okay, how long ago was this? Here we go. And of course, images are a little bugged on Minds right now, so that's not going to show up. Actually, we can expand it here. There we go. Yeah, let me see the picture too. Wunderbar. Anyways, the astral plane is a parallel spirit world where all living beings are connected to. When they fall asleep and enter their dream state, their minds are fully immersed in the astral plane, which is where a person's dreams play out. As part of their training, or through natural talent, conjurers have mastered the art of lucid dreaming and can shape the astral plane to their whims. They use this skill in a number of ways. Conjurers all have a special part of the astral plane carved out for themselves, known as their astral pocket. This pocket dimension serves as a habitat for all their creatures when they aren't being summoned. While a creature is crystallized, it resides within its conjurer's astral pocket and lives out its life normally with all of the conjurer's other creatures. Thanks to their lucid dreaming skills, conjurers can shape the dreamscape of their astral pocket in practically any way they desire. They often create fantastical structures to live in vibrant or exotic habitats where their creatures feel at home. And I asked for character building, what is your conjurer's astral pocket like, and what kind of features have they created in it? So, that's a little introduction to the astral pocket. And Arthadian over here says Vagan's astral pocket is, due to his lack of dealing with his inner turmoil, the astral pocket that Vagan wields is filled with chaotic terrain and challenges that await his future creatures. So far, Psychic has yet to enter his astral pocket. Now that's a little bit of a flavor fail, I think, right there. Psychic has yet to enter his astral pocket. Well, that would indicate that Psychic is actually completely unbound, so he's like a wild creature. So, it's a little odd. And he's gonna have to do something about that one of these days. Anyways, let's see. Let's look on to his character sheet over here. Here we go. This is the character sheet we got up here. you can see he's got, let's see, he's got 3 in fitness, 4 in agility over here, 2 in his intellect, and 3 in his sense talents. And of course that pulls out to 35 maximum health. Is that correct? I guess so. I don't think the mana and the stamina are correct. I think there's a little bit of a math problem there. Let's check out the character creation document here. I think you might have misread the calculations. Let's see. Oh, 20 times fitness times 5, so he's got the health right. Mana, intellect plus sense, of course. Let's see. Intellect plus sense. Right, so mana should be a 5. I don't think he's... It looks like all his experience has been spent on other things rather than increasing mana, so... Might have to dock a few points for that, but yeah, just basic math there. Deflection and evasion, those are based on the same numbers. And then speed, let's see, speed is agility plus 2, yeah. And initiative is just that plus reflexes. And then we'll go down to the skills. Now, for a starting character, you start out with 1 skill at level 3. So he's got binding there at level 3. That's the skill that affects how well you can basically capture new creatures and how strong your control over them is. And then you get 2 skills at level 2. So he's got athletics there and melee. So he can do a little bit of fighting. And he's pretty active in terms of what he can do physically. And then you get 3 skills at level 1. So he's got observation, reflexes, and survival there. So he's kind of got... looks like he's kind of got some very active person. He's got observation, he's got research, reflexes, he's got survival, athletics, melee. So he's a pretty physical dude. But then heavy on the binding. I guess he wants to catch as many creatures as possible. As you might notice by the capacity ability. Now, capacity allows you to basically equip additional creatures. So normally you only get 1 at a time. That's how it starts out, but for each rank and capacity that you buy, then you can have an additional creature attuned at a time. So you may have, I don't know, like 10 creatures at once, but you can only have a certain amount attuned, as in like on your team in Pokemon terms, if you want to go there. And that, of course, maxes out at 4. Capacity as a ability only goes up to rank 3. So 4 is the absolute maximum, and we capped it that low because typically you're going to be playing in a group. And that means once you have that much, combat tends to slow to a crawl if you're able to kind of just throw it all out there. So we didn't want to have like an entire 6-person team in terms of your creatures. That would just be ridiculous if everybody just went balls to the wall and conjured all their creatures in one fight. No thank you. That would take forever to resolve, even if you just win right away. Now he's also got this one, physical prowess. With that, let's see. Let's check the document so I can get this right. Physical prowess, there she is. Oh, formatting's all wrong. There we go. Alright. So this says when you make a talent check with fitness, you must spend 1 stamina to get a +3 die modifier to the check. So dice rolls in Crytures are done in a similar way to World of Darkness, where you make a dice pool out of d10s, and then you roll a handful of d10s, and each one is trying to hit a target number. Now, we change up what the target is and what the amount of successes you need is based on the situation. So that's a little bit of an extra design space opening up. So a +3 die modifier, that means you get additional die to the dice pool. So you can get even more successes or hits or whatever. And that physical prowess also does apply to like combat attack rolls and stuff like that, because as long as it's a fitness roll, that will apply. So you can do that in the middle of combat. You can use your physical prowess to give them a big hard stab or whatever. So what's else he got? He spent all his money. Well, not all his money. He's still got 395 cash here. Now, this little note, cash in Crytures, we don't use a specific type of currency here. Use gold or silver or something like that. And that's to drive home the idea that the world is almost like a post-apocalyptic place, and it's just now getting to a point of like feudal society. And so the place is littered with just ancient ruins and stuff, full of all kinds of different currencies and valuable metals and stuff. So everyone kind of has a gist of what these materials are worth, and we just kind of abstract that as a cash value for the kind of coinage that people are carrying around with them. But you can also kind of record your different currencies in separate lines if you so wish. That's something that you can do depending on what kind of level of role-playing you like to engage in, or if you just like to keep the numbers tracked. And he's got 3 lesser binding crystals. Good place to start. You want to have something to catch new creatures with. A couple javelins. Good for melee and range combat right there. And then some basic adventuring stuff. He's got flint and steel. He's got his backpack, water skin, bedroll, and some leather armor. Now, leather armor, that should add a little bit to his health. That's how armor works in Crytures. It just adds to health. And then it also usually has penalties. And I want to say, we're going to have to open another doc to see this. Where is it? Basic items. There we go. Alright. Here. Let's see, it should be down towards the bottom. Well, leather armor, there we go. Yeah, leather armor gives you plus 20 health, but drops your stamina and your speed by 1. So that's something you'll probably want to add to the stats here if you're equipping that. And then he's got his creature down here is Psychic. This little row here is actually to mark which ones you've got attuned at any given time, not so much to make for a quantity. Now, assets, this is going to represent role-playing rewards. So stuff that's not super specific to how the game rules work is going to be right here. So if you have a good relationship with somebody important, you'll have an asset describing that, and you'll be ranked as accordingly. Or if you have membership in a guild or something, or if you own some kind of significant asset like a house or land or something, those will all be listed under assets. And then recipes are for crafting, which I'm still very much in development on. Still working on those. That's a little more complex than most of the rest of the game. But yeah, so Vagan Ring. I'm liking the general idea of this dude. And I think one of the things that I find most interesting is the city that he came from. So it's got this idea that the city was basically destroyed by the nobility going mad, unleashing their creatures on the city. And that actually would make for a really interesting adventure location, I find. You could have like almost like a Darkest Dungeon style adventure in there, where you have to, like, I don't know, go in for expeditions into the demolished creature infested city and find out what happened in there. That might be interesting. We'll call it like the City of the Mad King or something. And it also plays into the idea of the nobility and creatures, being that all of the rulers gain their position by actually binding mythic creatures, because they have a connection directly to the land, and that imparts the authority to the conjurer that binds them. So let's see, what else is there? Anyways, let's go on to the next one. I think we've pondered this guy enough. See, this guy wrote like an entire thing. Woo a piece here. He drew a little picture for us. This guy, so there you can see that before we go in and read a little description he's got. Of course, I say little description, but it's more like a whole page. If it'll load. Come on. Alright. Here we go. Now, I'm not entirely sure how he intends the name to be pronounced, so I'm just gonna make a guess. Alright, so here we go. Narson R.A., the town hobo, was a curious sort. His name, for one thing, didn't sound right. Like you had to jam a couple rags down your throat in order to pronounce the first syllable. And when that's actually pretty accurate. And when he wrote his name, which mind you wasn't very often, given that he was in fact a hobo, the letters were so unnecessarily complex and pretentious, one would have to assume he was doing it on purpose. But no, he bore his name with complete sobriety, which is more than can be said for the rest of his life. Narson lived his life by ale and song, and always needed one to produce the other. But when he was bereft of both, he would wander around until he found someone who did not look like too much of a gossip, and ask for a little help. If they obliged, in return, Nerson would regale the benefactor on tales of civilizations millennia dead, on their wars and their loves and their dreadful tragedies. And if one listened quietly, his stories would sometimes slip up and mention where he was all those 1,000 years ago. Nerson, however, for his few virtues, was a horrible judge of character, for no sooner did a tale leave his lips than did it spread through the town like wildfire. The entire town was equally fascinated and baffled. How could destitute old Nerson know all these things? Perhaps he is only a descendant of royalty, and those stories were merely passed down through generations, one would say. Nonsense, he speaks as if he's really been there. He's some kind of either magical immortal or the whole thing is utter hogwash, another scoffed. Actually, interjected a scrawny bespectacled man, I think there is some evidence he may be telling the truth, if the ruins just north of Hirdi, for example. As the rumors got wilder and wilder, the townsfolk became more and more weary of him. But that is where it stopped, with just a few insane ideas and peoples, and a couple of Okay, I lost where that was. I think there might be a word missing there. With just a few innate ideas in people's heads and a couple of uncomfortable villagers, Nerson stopped telling his stories. That would have been the end of the story if it weren't for one night, when a wild creature visited the local tavern. It wasn't a large creature, nor was it a particularly powerful one, but so wily and quick it was that not a single guard could get a hold of it. So it went on, causing chaos and clamor in its wake, and with every blow of property damage dealt the creature blew bolder, until it was so daring that it sought to attack the bartender. From its beak it let out a ghastly howl before plunging its head into the bartender's neck. Or it would have, if it wasn't engulfed in a binding light and sucked out of this reality. For there, just 5 yards away, was Nerson Are, standing like a king, holding the crystal he got from who knows where, with the offending cheapies trapped inside. A smile creeps upon Nerson's lips, and a dream long slumbering begins to reawaken. So this guy was concepted as... Let's see, we'll look at this. Let's see. Long ago, a lord of an ancient kingdom was somehow sealed in the pocket realm where creatures live when they are captured. A millennia later, he's released, with nothing, no title or lands for him to claim. He seeks out to eke out a meager living by telling stories, until one day, when he met a creature that is effectively just as dead as him, he becomes a conjurer and is given a chance to reestablish his rule. So I like that this guy has basically a goal already that gives you something to like a dungeon master. It gives you something to work with as far as planning adventures and stuff like that. So that's nice to have right off the bat. And he wrote a lot about this guy. Anyways, let's see. Let's see. He's basically a walking resurrection of an ancient civilization. You can see the corpse, and if you look closely, you can see his cloak is actually a frayed royal robe, a memento of his old life. That's a nice little detail too. Now let's take a look at his stats over here. Alright. Now, I wish I could move things around a little bit, but I can't. I'm on view only mode. Anyways, Nerson's only got 1 fitness, 2 agility, 4 intellect, and 3 sense. Now, Willow here clearly hasn't used all of his available points. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that myself. I'm not sure if this was intentional or if he just forgot. But, yeah. Use all your points. I'm a big fan of the idea that you don't need to have, like, specific mechanics in order to roleplay things a certain way. So if you want him to be like a weakling, you can make him a little unfit, but he doesn't really need to be like a complete cripple or anything. And it tends to get in the way of the gameplay. It makes it difficult to balance things that way. So I would suggest if you want to play something that's like weaker, just roleplay it as such and keep your stats kind of in a more agreeable range. Everything's kind of relative anyways. So, let's see. His health, yeah. His health is tiny. Tiny. Because he's only got 1 fitness. He's probably going to get taken down in like 2 hits. He's going to want some armor. Anyways, got 7 mana. 4 stamina. I'm not sure where he's getting the 4 at. He's only got fitness 1 and agility 2. So that should be 3 altogether. And I haven't seen him spend any of the experience. It doesn't have any abilities or anything. And he only has the starting skills. So Wooloo, you forgot to spend your starting experience, man. How's this guy gonna be an ancient king if he got no experience? He should have a little bit. Come on, man. Come on, man. Why you gotta do that to poor old nurse, son? He's just a fallen king. You don't gotta treat him like that. Give him a little bit of experience. Make him not a complete weakling. But yeah, not much to look at on this character sheet in particular. Let's see, he's got history. That makes perfect sense. Being the first one, that's right in line with his character. Inquiry? I guess he's good at chatting people up and all that. That makes sense. Legerdemain? He apparently he's done a little pickpocketing, maybe. Something like that. Magic? He knows a little bit about magic. And stealth and zoology. So he's familiar with creatures and figuring out how to get around unseen. Now, I would think he would have some ranks in binding or something, since he just plucked a cheapie out of thin air with a binding crystal. So a little bit of a flavor disconnect in your mechanics here. But I like the character overall. He's pretty interesting. He could actually team up with the other one, and they could explore the what did I call it? The city of the Mad King together. And their son could hunt down the legendary creature that destroyed the city and bind it for himself. While Vagan is out here getting closure on his past trauma. That might make an interesting duo, right? So, anyways, that's the 2 of them. That's the 2 entries out of the 3 places that I expected. So, well, I can't really decide which one is more interesting. So, since there's only 2, and I expected to give rewards out to 3rd place, I'm just gonna go ahead and slap the first place reward on both of these guys. So um, once this stream's over, I guess I'll just head on over to Mines and send you both the nice 10 tokens. But for now, we're gonna head right into creating some characters for myself for this this beginner module I'm working on. So let's see, where is Crytures character sheet here. I'm gonna close some of these so my PC doesn't hate me too much for keeping tab after tab open like a psycho. Oof. It's already rebelling, just trying to close the tabs. And close that one. Alright, I think we got so let's see. We're gonna make a copy of this. And hold on a second. Okay, of course I don't have the other thing up. Never mind. Anyways, I had like archetypes I was gonna go with. So we'll make this the fighter guy. And we'll do a duplicate character sheet over here, and we'll make one from scratch so everybody can see how this process goes. So we're just gonna give him a generic name right here. People can fill that in, or maybe I'll write up something specific later on. Depends on how long I have until the whole release goes. Well, yeah, we'll just leave it blank. Now, being the fighter, he's gonna be the melee guy. Mostly. And let's see. Character creation, here we go. Character creation, this should probably be centered. There we go. That looks better. Characters and creatures are made up of talents, skills, abilities, and professions. Although they may be greater than the sum of their parts once you add personality and backstory elements to them, these are the core mechanics that your character uses to interact with the game systems. Each of these features work in different ways as explained below. And here's talents. Characters' talents represent their natural aptitude for performing tasks. Most roles will be based on a certain talent depending on the situation and the action being taken. Talents are determined at character creation and can't be changed over the course of the game. The 4 talents are as follows, with a description of their levels from 1 to 5. Fitness represents your overall physical health. It's used to derive your health, stamina, and deflection stats. Agility represents your fine motor skills and flexibility. It's used to derive your stamina, deflection, and speed stats. Intellect represents your ability to learn, reason, and solve problems. It's used to derive your mana and evasion stats, as well as your starting experience. Sense represents your ability to glean information from things around you. It's used to derive your mana and evasion stats, as well as your starting experience. Sense also measures a character's ability to resist social manipulation and attempts to distract or hide from them. And determining your talents, your character begins with 1 point fitness, agility, intellect, and sense. As you can see, that's already filled out on the character sheet there automatically. Then you get 8 additional points to distribute among them, up to a maximum of 5 in any single talent. Your other stats are derived from these 4 talents as follows. And there we have all the calculations there. So, we got 8 points to slap into each of these things. What does that mean? We're going to do pretty standard stuff with this. Nothing too complicated since this is a beginner module we're working on. So, this should be pretty easy. What we're going to do is we're going to slap 4 into fitness right there. And let's see. You know what, he probably only needs 2 in agility there. And then we'll make both of these 3. Right? Maybe, you know what? I should look up what the other character I have. I made a ranger as well. So we'll look what he has, and then we'll kind of use that as a base to fill in the gap. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Okay, so the ranger is already short on intellect. So we'll let the we'll let the fighter be relatively smart, since the ranger's kind of a simpleton. And health, let's see. Health is 20 plus fitness times 5. So 5 times 4, that's 20, so he's got 40 health altogether. That's a pretty hefty sum, especially to start with. Once we add on armor, that'll actually go even higher. Now mana, that is your intellect plus your sense. That's going to be 6 and 6. And stamina is the other 2 added together, which of course is going to be 6 and 6 again. And then deflection and evasion are the same things. 6 and 6. Speed is your agility plus 2. So he's got 4 in that. And then initiative will be your speed plus your reflexes skill, which we don't have yet. So we'll fill out the skills next before we bother with the initiative. Oh, and starting experience. 500 plus sense plus intellect times 50. Okay? We got that? So 500, what is sense plus intellect times 50? Now, let's just simplify that. That's the same. They're both 3, so that's like 3 times 100, so 300. So he's gonna get 800 experience to start out with, and we'll spend that later on. And now on to the skills. Alright, let's see. Skills. A skill represents training and experience in a certain field. Each character starts the game with 1 skill at level 3, 3 skills at level 2, 2 skills at level 2, and 3 skills at level 1. You may spend experience later to buy new skills or additional levels of skills you already have. Each skill level costs the following amount of experience to buy. And then you can see the progression there from one rank to the next. Anyways, what's this guy gonna need? Let's see. Since he's a fighter, we're probably gonna want to give him some melee ability. What does the ranger have exactly? He's got 1 in melee, 2 in ranged. Alright, so we'll go ahead and make this guy kind of like the fighting expert. And we'll give him a whole 3 ranks in melee. Now for his second ones, for his 2 ranks. Let's see. You know what? might not have been a good idea to give the ranger the healing skill. That's probably going to be based off of intellect more often than not. And he's kind of a dummy. Let's see. Let's go ahead and give him a couple in athletics. Range, persuasion. Ranger's got good survival. Mechanics, history, inquiry. You know, let's give him a couple in inquiry. So that he'll be kind of a Chad. I can talk people up. Now we'll slap one in reflexes or something. And maybe one in survival. And history. Mechanics. Let's just slap one extra in binding, so he's not completely useless in terms of capturing creatures. Since that's one of the main features of the games and all that. Don't want people to feel left out because they can't capture any creatures. But anyways, next up, let's see. Abilities. Abilities are specific applications of your character's experience. They often make significant changes to how your character plays, and they vary in how they progress, if they progress at all. For abilities that start higher than level 1, you must spend experience for each level up to that level as well. For example, if an ability starts at level 2, it costs 250 experience to buy in total, 100 for the first level, and 150 for the second level. Each level and ability costs the following amount of experience to buy, and then you have the progression again, which is the same as skills. So, to start off, we might want to give this guy armor proficiency, since he's going to be the tough guy. He'll have to wear some heavier armor, and that'll make it difficult for him to carry and get around. Let's see. Ranger had armor proficiency too. Efficiency. We'll just go with one rank. And that's 100 experience spent right there. What is with this? There we go, that looks a little better. And let's see, what else do we need? Let's see, danger sense might be useful for this guy. That'll cost him 250. You know, first of all, we probably want to give him one spot in capacity. That way he can use creatures that he gains on the first adventure right away. I think that's going to be a standard thing for these pre-made characters. We'll just give them all one ranking capacity so they can capture a creature and then use it after a short rest so they can attune it. That'll actually encourage them to capture creatures along on their first expedition here. Oh wait, almost forgot. 200 experience spent. Mental prowess, nimble prowess. Could probably give him physical prowess and danger sense. That'll bring him up to 500. or bring him up by 500. So it'll be 700 after this. So what was that first one? Danger sense, that's right. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Physical prowess. X and X there. Now he's got 100 experience left, so probably buy him an extra skill with that. I think he's got enough abilities to start himself off. Question is, what kind of stuff does he want? Persuasion, observation. Yeah, let's give him some observation here. And that'll be 800 experience for him. Now, inventory. Oh, and I think I'm just gonna let people choose what creature they want, since basically the creatures are not very customizable themselves. So you'll get your pre-made character, but then you'll get to pick a creature of your own, whatever you feel is appropriate. So that'll be a little bit of a Pokemon feel to it. Like, here's your character, now pick your Pokemon. Anyways, inventory, that is the next thing. And let's see. Oh, right. For this, we go right back up to the determining talents parts. Once you determine all your stats, you'll need to determine your starting skills. Then you may spend your experience to buy abilities, professions, or extra skills. Now, we don't have professions yet because that's crafting, and that's in development. But then you also begin the game with 1,000 cash to buy starting equipment. So that's what we'll do now. We'll give this guy some equipment, and we'll call him done. And I guess I'll go over the starting creatures too, even though we're not going to pick one specifically for this guy. But anyways, we got... Hold on a second, didn't I? Ah, yes. I formatted this completely differently. I thought that looked wrong. There we go. There we go. Oh man, the let's see. Borders, not the color. We want the thick borders. Thick borders all around. Yeah, nice and chunky borders. Anyways. Empty all that crap out. There we go. Oh, come on. 1,000 cash. Whatever currency is appropriate. There we got a place for the weight and for the quantity. Nice and clean. Easy to keep track of, especially with a spreadsheet. So, what do we need for this guy? Let's go to the basic items and check it out. Now, let's see. Okay, I did bother to give this guy rations, so we'll remember to do that. So let's see. He's gonna need himself a backpack and a rope and a survival knife and all that stuff. I'll probably just copy and paste most of this, actually. And let's see. There we go. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Okay, now I need to total that stuff up. Hold up a second. Let me move this over to my other screen so I can read both at the same time. Alright, let's see. Backpack is 15. Backpack is 15 cash. Rope is 10, so that's 25. So it's 975. Survival knife 20. And flint and steel 5. Journal 10. And the bedroll is another 10. And the water skin is 5. Alright. Now we got some of the basics there. Now what else is he gonna need? Now this guy's probably gonna want to get himself a shield and some armor and stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and give him an arming sword instead of like a straight up long sword or something. Let's see, arming sword is 100 cash, so we'll knock 100 off of that. And it's 2 pounds. Quantity 1. Okay, what's up with this calculation here? That should do it, right? There we go. Now we're good. Okay, so he's got his sword. Let's see. Let's not go full-blown into plate armor territory, because that's pretty hefty. But we'll give him a little halberd. That's a chain shirt. And that's like 15 pounds. And let's see. 150 cash. Oh geez. I have to do more than a little basic math, but let's see. That's 100. So 675? 75. There we go. And let's see. I'll go ahead and give him a shield to go along with that. And that's 50. One and 5 pounds. Now, he probably wants a few binding crystals too. We'll give him a standard 3. Those are 100 apiece. Expensive little things. And let's see. Oh, what's the weight on those? 0.5. Oh wait, he's got 3 of them, so 1.5. And let's see, what else can we get this dude? Hmm. Yeah, you could probably use some torches. Let's see. Torches. Torches are cheap. Let's give them a good 5. 1 pound each. And then he's gonna want some rations too to start off with. Now we do make a distinction, as you see here, between rations and food. The main difference is that food is perishable, rations last. So food, if you don't eat it within a day, you're gonna lose it. That's all there is to it. Rations are preserved, so they can stay fresh for a long journey. So we're gonna start these guys out with rations, so people don't have to worry about that specifically. So start out there with rations, and we'll give them a couple, and they're a pound each. Alright, now I want to check out what the carrying capacity was. Okay, it's not on this one. It must be in the general rules. Carrying capacity, there we go. Character is equal to 10 times their fitness plus 25 pounds. Okay. So his fitness is 4. So that's 40 plus 25, so 65 pounds. So he's got almost 20 pounds of room left on him before he starts to get weighed down beyond what he actually can carry. I think that's probably all this guy really needs. Actually, I forgot to take the money out for his food items. Rations. Oh yeah, rations do cost more since they're non-perishable. So 5, so that'll be 10 for both. 310. 310. That is how much cash he has left over. Alrighty. Now creatures, since I'm not selecting a specific creature for each character, I'll just go through and read through all the choices you have.